around some of the beaches in Massachusetts. Yes, that was the tail. And this is the tail of the red tail.
Hello, welcome everyone. I'm so excited to be here. My name is Renata Pomponi. I'm the Senior Regional Director for Mass Audubon, and I'm so excited to welcome you all to the Powder Magazine here today. I first came to Cambridge as an 18-year-old college student, like many college students, and the magazine Beach Park was a place where I would go to escape the city life, the studies, the stress. And I would walk here, run here, bike here. I rode past it, rollerbladed because it was the 80s. And I'm sure I went by this building hundreds, if not thousands of times without really taking notice of it. But that is no longer. People will take notice of this space. We are so excited to have the Powder Magazine be Mass Audubon's first official urban green space in partnership with DCR and Magazine Beach Partners. I know there's so many people here today that worked literally years, as well as months with us in making this happen. And we're so excited to acknowledge just a few of them today and to really welcome the community in. To kick us off, we have Mass Audubon President David O'Neill.
I am so thrilled to be here today. I think it was maybe 36 hours into my new role as Mass Audubon President that I got a call from Kathy Zuzi. Can you believe it? Yeah. She said, "You've got to come down to Magazine Beach. You've got to check out this incredible park." And that weekend I did. I came down on my own and kind of tooled around and explored a little bit. And instantly fell in love with it and bought the vision of really transforming this place into a place where people can come together, experience nature, enjoy arts and culture, and be a centerpiece for this part of Cambridge. And we are so thrilled to be in this partnership with the Department of Conservation and Recreation, with Magazine Beach Partners, and with the City of Cambridge. Thank you all so very much for being a part of this. Look, we know that this has been a difficult time and that the outdoors has meant so much to all of us. We also realize that there is a nature deficit in many urban communities across the Commonwealth. Mass Audubon is committed to addressing that issue. As an organization that cares about nature for everyone in Massachusetts, we need to make this pivot to focus on the communities that need open spaces, need conservation programming, educational programming. And as Renata said, we're thrilled that this is the first urban conservation nature center at Mass Audubon. So with that, I am really proud to introduce Stephanie Cooper, the Acting Director of the Department of Conservation and Recreation. She is a longtime friend of many at Mass Audubon and a great supporter of our work, and we're thrilled to be a partner with her. Commissioner.
Well, thank you. It's an honor for me to be serving as DCR's Acting Commissioner, and what an honor to get to come to this event and be part of the culmination of so much work that's been happening through many partners who we're going to talk about today. So I am thrilled, and as we are moving into the Thanksgiving holiday, we at DCR are so thankful for all of our partners. And I really want to highlight and underscore that, and that is what today is about, because we need all of us to come together to take care of these important places, to allow the public to come into its land, to celebrate it, and to take care of the natural resources. So that's what we're all about, working together. And we're going to be talking about, and you'll be hearing from each of the different partners. But one of the things I was reflecting on is that partnerships are important, and partnerships can be challenging, right? Because it's hard to line up everybody's different mission and goals. And when they work well, two things happen, and I think we've got that in spades here. One is that each organization or each individual is able to advance their own goals in a way that's really meaningful, and then as a whole, we're doing more together, and in this case, serving the public. And so I think this is really a model that's worthy of celebration. And so we're so thrilled that Mass Audubon will be operating this beautiful historic restored facility as an urban nature center. I can't imagine the long list of kids and parents that you're going to have who will want to take advantage of this. And I live not too far away, so I may well be on that list, just so you know. And we are also, it was so nice to make the acquaintance of folks from Magazine Beach Partners and from Charles River Conservancy on the way in, two organizations that I know well have been doing good work for a very long time, so we really appreciate everything that they have done. And I want to acknowledge the legislators who are here with whom we could not do any of this work at DCR, and that's really important to underscore. So Representative Jay Livingstone is here, and you'll be hearing from him. And Representative Mike Connolly is here as well. So we're really glad to have you with us. And local partners, and you'll be hearing from Mayor Siddiqui later, but I wanted to recognize her as well. So at DCR, we oversee nearly 500,000 acres of property, of public land across the Commonwealth. And so it includes places like this. It also includes, forests out in the Berkshires, parkways, footbridges, dams, pools, campgrounds, rinks. It's an amazing, amazing variety of assets, and they belong to all of us. And every day we commit anew to fulfill our mission, and that mission is to protect, promote, and enhance our commonwealth of natural, cultural, and recreational resources for the well-being of all. And we know that everyone benefits from getting outside and enjoying our land, and I feel like over the last couple of years, we New Englanders have become even hardier, right? And I was saying this a minute ago, we'll go out in January and go to a playground and be there for 2 hours just with about 5 more layers than we might have done before the pandemic happened. So I wanted to highlight, in terms of Mass Audubon, they've been like the tried and true partner of DCR for years and years and years, and I could go on all afternoon about that, but I won't, for the benefit of all of us. But I did want to note that the partnership has already begun in earnest here in terms of the programming, and so we at DCR, the Baker Polito administration, have created a program called Summer Nights that provides free, safe programming in the summer for youth, particularly in urban areas. And this year we did have a program here with Audubon at Magazine Beach, and so that's just going to grow and flourish, but we're excited that we've gotten off to a really good start with that. I wanted to say to Kathy and to everyone from Magazine Beach Partners, you have been the tireless, amazing advocate for this park. And in saying hello to you coming in the door, I have a sense that you're not nearly finished. And I'm so glad. And I hope you will keep it up. And I hope you will be knocking on my door. From what I can tell, you all have been the champions behind this effort. We had the celebration in July 2018 for the long time coming restoration of this important building. And I know that Magazine Beach Partners has done much more, and I'll let you talk about some of your accomplishments. I also wanted to highlight Charles River Conservancy for all, taking care of all the new vegetation that's been planted here, which is a really important part of taking care of this property and bringing in volunteers to help us with stewardship. We're really so appreciative, so thank you. Oh dear, oh my goodness. You can't have a some sort of a hazardous incident on our first day here together. So I am going to turn the podium over in a moment, but I wanted to mention in the category of not being done yet, at DCR we are investing $1.3 million in the Veterans Pool Bathhouse to redo it and make it truly accessible to all, and to have external accessible restrooms, which we know we're going to need more of because we're going to have so many people here coming to enjoy this property. And after that, we will also be investing another $1.5 million to make repairs to the pool and pool deck to continue with that accessibility theme. So all that is coming, and you should know that the Baker-Polito administration has made very strong investments in DCR, particularly in our capital program, and so we are pleased to have those resources with the help of the legislature, and so we'll keep doing our work here together. And so with that, I'm going to turn it over to Representative Livingstone. Thank you.
I'm so excited to be here. I'm so excited for this moment. I was thinking back, one of the earlier speakers mentioned about working on this for years, and it has been. When I was first elected, my predecessor sat down and was telling me about the district and said, you have to go to Magazine Beach and talk to Kathy Zuzzi. It needs a lot of work. And this was one of our first projects. And it was, over several years with the partnership with the DCR and the City of Cambridge, getting the money to repair this. But having the right partner was something that I think everyone has really struggled with. And when Mass Audubon stepped up, I was so pleased. Last summer, with their programming, it was fantastic. It was great to see. Well, it was great to see my own kids enjoy it, but it was great to see so many people from the neighborhood and from the surrounding areas come here and enjoy it. I have a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old, and they loved it, and they always wanted to come back. And it's great to also hear the continuing commitment of DCR to making investments in the park. We've had a ribbon cutting at least once a year for about 5 years, 6 years now. and that's because of the advocacy of Kathy Zuzzi, Magazine Partners, and the great relationship between the city and the state, and that I've been happy to play a part of. But having these continue, there are still some projects that need to be done on the beach, but we've come a long way, and this is going to make a tremendous difference. And so I'm excited not only for this, to cut this ribbon today, but then to also see what Mass Audubon does with the space and the programming that they bring, which I think is going to be a tremendous benefit. We've already seen it on a limited basis where they've just had temporary setups. With them having a permanent presence here, I think is going to make a tremendous difference. So thanks for coming. Thanks for supporting these projects, and look forward to celebrating. Thank you. Nothing would have happened here without the City of Cambridge, without the partnership of the city manager, and especially Mayor McGovern was the first one to really start to direct resource there, and Mayor Siddiqui has only continued that effort. And so without further ado, I'd like to turn it over to her to also participate in this.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm so glad to be here with you all. We're so lucky to be standing here to celebrate the many improvements that are made to Magazine Beach. I also want to acknowledge my partner in politics, Vice Mayor Mallon, who's here behind us from the city as well, so let's give it a round. It is really a joint city council effort to do all of this work. So I want to go back to September 2011, when I know that Kathy and the Cambridgeport Neighborhood Association wrote to the council to discuss the potential of Powder House and all of Magazine Beach. In that letter, they noted that if the council approved a small CPA grant to repair the Powder House roof, momentum would continue to build and the potential for the space would grow. And now, to look around 10 years later and see the new canoe and kayak launch, the restored shoreline path, the native plantings and new trees, and the Powder Magazine patio expansion and the new terraces. It's amazing. And that's just a partial list of all the work that's been done to enhance this open space. And between 2011 and today, we've seen a process that should be held up as an example for all restoration and improvement projects. An engaged community that worked closely with our local and state partners, and a large number of people dedicated to seeing this vision through. So much work has transpired over the last decade, and I want to recognize again some of the many people who are integral to this process. Magazine Beach partners whose vision and dedication to improving this space is and continues to be amazing. The Department of Conservation and Recreation, including Acting Commissioner Stephanie Cooper and her entire team, who've been great partners in making these improvements possible, and to the City Manager, Louis A. Pasquale, who couldn't be here, and his team for their commitment to Magazine Beach and the investment that Cambridge has made in this space. I also want to recognize Charlie Sullivan, Executive Director of the Cambridge Historical Commission, who helped right over here. He helped this project get started with CPA funds for the historical structure report and for interior and exterior improvements. And on top of that, he helped with additional CPA funds to complete the landscape plan, which is an Olmsted Brothers landscape, and has guided all improvements to the park. Thank you, Charlie, for your leadership and support. Finally, I want to thank any and all community members who played a part in this process. Cambridge residents never cease to amaze, and the dedication, creativity, and thoughtfulness that neighbors and community leaders put into this project is admirable. Now, I've been saying a lot about how we got to this point, but I also want to talk about what lies ahead for Magazine Beach. This park will hopefully be a center of community and culture. And I want to take a quick minute to acknowledge Matthew Boyce Watson and Nina Berg, who are here through Flag Studios. Go to the table. They have some great ideas of what could be possible. And they are we're old friends and we're classmates from Cambridge and and I'm so proud of all the work that they've done for the city, and I hope will continue to do. So really excited to see what kind of space that we can continue to cultivate. And we're really lucky to have a great partner in Mass Audubon, led by President David O'Neill. And I have no doubt that they will be incredible stewards of this park and set a high bar for what community engagement can look like. I'm so excited to see the local artists, the community organizations, and educational opportunities that they will bring to Magazine Beach. This beach has always been a special place in Cambridge, and these improvements have made it into a world-class park. Thank you again to everyone who was involved in this project. We're so grateful for all the work that you've done. And now I'll pass it to David Kale, who is our Assistant City Manager for Fiscal Affairs, who will say a few words on behalf of our City Manager, who's done so much work on this. Thank you again, everyone, and take care.
Thank you, Mayor. Unfortunately, the city manager couldn't be here today, but he wanted to, again, wish everyone and congratulate everyone for the great work on this project. I think he was going to note that prior to the pandemic, we often came here to mark a newly completed or planned improvement to Magazine Beach. And for a while, it almost seemed like we were here monthly. And that's a testament to the great work and collaboration happening. And today's celebration builds on the shared passion for Magazine Beach. And Magazine Beach is a beloved community destination for many Cambridge residents and families. As you know, it's a heavily used regional park and public space. And even though Magazine Beach is owned by the Commonwealth and run by DCR, the improvements that have been taking place over the last several years represent the broad collaboration between many levels of government, elected officials, city departments, community groups, and residents. And the city is pleased to see how these improvement projects have taken shape, and the city manager wanted to thank everyone who helped make it possible. And when the city is very excited that Mass Audubon will now play a key role here at Magazine Beach. For decades, the city has been investing and partnering with the Commonwealth to improve this park. In 1999, the city entered into an agreement with DCR, then known as MDC, to provide $1.5 million in funding for renovations primarily to the fields on the eastern side of the park. The city also agreed to maintain those areas. I think it's important to note that since 2012, the additional investments the city has made have been matched by funding from DCR, nonprofit organizations, and private donations for improvements to Magazine Beach. DCR has been a great partner in all of our efforts and has consistently matched or exceeded city funds. And this is a signature of the city manager. Let's give a hand to all agencies that have been collaborating on this project right now. So thank you all. And the city manager, on behalf of the city, would like to thank the Cambridge City Council, our state representatives, and our state senators for their strong support for the various Magazine Beach projects. And it goes without saying that without the work and efforts of Kathy Susi and the Magazine Beach partners, none of this would have been possible. They recognized early on that the historic Powder Magazine was a vital part of the overall improvements of this facility. They worked hard to secure funding from city, state, and nonprofit agencies and private donors to restore the building and bring it up to code. And again, if the manager were here, he would say this with wholeheartedly, that let's give Kathy again and the Magazine Beach partners a round of applause. Because of the improvements to the area and this historic building, we can celebrate the vital role that the Mass Audubon will play in increasing activity at the park and enhancing the community's connection to the park and the river for years to come. The manager, on behalf of the city, would like to thank Mass Audubon President David O'Neill and Acting DCR Commissioner Stephanie Cooper for their leadership on protecting this vital community asset. Let's also give them a round of applause. And lastly, the City of Cambridge remains committed to being a partner in the Magazine Beach efforts, and that we look forward to our continued future collaborations. And with that, I would just say that I will introduce Kathy Susi to say a few words, but I think she has a ongoing Rolodex of everybody in this room in terms of what their kids' names are and what their grandkids' names are and what their favorite vegetable is, because when she was introducing everybody, she had a little story about each person. She's the reason she's so successful is because she really makes connections with people. So with that, Kathy Susi.
Thank you all for being here. David, I'll explain that every person in this room has actually contributed to this project in one way or another. So I think they've been part of it. They've made the change happen. So I thank you all for being here, and I thank you all for leading the charge. This is the day that the community has been waiting for since November 2010, when we did our first cleanup of the park. The Cambridgeport Neighborhood Association, led by Bill August, who's here today, who is and was a runner, had told me that he'd run by this old derelict building at the park down the street and that we should do something about it. And an inveterate organizer, I responded, well, let's organize a cleanup. So we had a cleanup, and many of those that were participated in that cleanup are here today, including Bill, Carol O'Hare, Walter McDonald, David Torrey, Liz Torrey, Minka Van Boozekam, Sue Reinhardt. They were all there at the very beginning. And we came to the park and were distressed to find a structure without a roof, covered with graffiti, and with trees growing into its foundation. Everything was broken at the park, not just the Powder Magazine. The picnic tables, the benches, the wading pool, the play structure. We all wondered, how could this be? How could the park be in such wretched condition in one of the richest cities, the richest states, and the richest countries on earth? It just didn't make any sense. So that's when we began a decade of community advocacy for this important spot. I, a museum curator who had worked on NEH-funded exhibitions, had thought naively, well, this should take a year or two. 11 years later, we're still not done, but we've made important strides. Today, we celebrate Mass Audubon's reactivating the Powder magazine and the park with an Urban Nature Center Plus. This is exactly the use we've been advocating for since 2016, based on community input. What better 21st use for this old Powder magazine? Welcome, Mass Audubon. Thanks to all of you who have helped to make this happen. The community, the city, the state, and the many of you who have contributed in large and small ways. Together we have restored this once very derelict building and a once very derelict park into the beautiful place that it is today. The people spoke, and the city and the state delivered. A special thanks to Representative Jay Livingstone, who has been such an extraordinary and effective advocate. Thank you, Jay. We're going to miss you, and lucky Boston to have your undivided attention. It was Jay who told me many years ago, when I was sometimes frustrated, he would say, Kathy, don't give up. Everything takes 10 years. And so it has. And special thanks to Cambridge's Historical Commission Director, Charlie Sullivan, over here, and our, who has been our ally from the very, very beginning, and to our city manager, Louis De Pasquale, who has been there for us again and again and again, providing critical financial support. Money that DCR has matched, often 2 to 1. DCR, Stephanie, we know you have other properties. and we thank you for your attention to Magazine Beach and your commitment to seeing this project through. And Jennifer Norwood, we love you and thank you for staying with us. Our success has come from the collaboration with so many, including the Charles River Conservancy, the Riverside Boat Club, which is represented with its president, Liz Osborne, today. Thank you, Lynn. They have been longtime partners at the park and the Guardians here. And nonprofits and other city agencies who have organized park cleanups, planted and watered trees, and organized and funded park programs. Together, we have accomplished so much. Finally, thank goodness for the incredible Magazine Beach Partners Board. Since 2017, they have provided sage advice and a lot of elbow grease to power this project. Thank goodness for them, and thank goodness for you all, and thank goodness to Sam Kendall, my wonderful husband, who has supported this from the very beginning. To a new era at Magazine Beach Park with Mass Audubon.
I think that was just the perfect ending for us today. Mass Audubon is so excited to get to know the nature of Magazine Beach Park, the animals, the plants, the seasons of the river, but mostly we are excited to be part of this community, and we just can't wait to welcome you and see you at our some of our festivals we're coming up with for this winter, and then our programming for children and adults when we start up for the full season in April. So thank you so much for coming. I'll invite our speakers to join me in the back patio for a photo, and we're thrilled to be here. Thank you so much.
My kids, can you guys come back over here? Look at those big scissors, isn't that neat?
Okay, but it's DCR.
Everybody put their hand in, come on.